Meet Mr. Beast, the most successful YouTuber in the world right now. With over 140 million subscribers on his main channel and dozens of other channels in existence, Jimmy Donaldson's life has been defined by his creative work on the platform of YouTube. His videos earn billions of views annually across multiple languages, and his first retail products have met with mind-numbing success. Do you want to know the scary part? He's only 24 years old. As an educator and creator, I've had questions about Jimmy's story for quite some time. How does he view traditional K-12 and college education? What are his thoughts and what's his approach to learning and creativity? What lessons can we take as creators, learners, and educators from his story? Several videos and documentaries later, and I've got some answers and some takeaways to share with you. Some surprises too. Let's get started. Takeaway number 1, extreme learning guarantees extreme results. In the words of Mr. Beast, I would say since I was 11 years old, almost every waking hour of the day, I'm thinking about YouTube in some form or capacity. One thing that becomes quickly apparent when you look at Jimmy's story is his absolute obsession with learning more about the YouTube platform and the art of video production. It's manic. It's compulsive. He's been continuously learning about the YouTube platform for more than 13 years and he just refuses to stop. It's a kind of frenzied focus that we're not sure we'd recommend to our students or children. As educators, we're in the business of developing the whole child, but to hear him describe it, Mr. Beast's style obsession doesn't leave a whole lot of room for other life priorities. Having said that, Donaldson seems to have great relationships with his mother and brother. He has a girlfriend and he enjoys other strong and long-lasting friendships. He's a renowned philanthropist and seems driven by opportunities to help other people. So balanced lifestyle or not, the world could use more Jimmy Donaldsons. Again, there's a clear takeaway here. Extreme learning leads to extreme results. Mr. Beast's style obsession isn't going to be the path for everyone, but there's a principle here worth emulating. Takeaway number 2, it's still possible to start at zero and become a master artist. As Mr. Beast put it, I had no idea what worked. I had to teach myself everything. As you watch Mr. Beast entertaining millions of global fans each month, you might be forgiven for guessing that he grew up in wealthy suburbia, enjoyed the support of a loving nuclear family, attended elite private schools, or was given the financial resources to acquire cutting-edge video equipment as a teen. But that's where you'd be wrong on all counts. He enjoyed none of those advantages. He started at zero. Jimmy grew up in the lower-class neighborhoods of Greenville, North Carolina with a single mom. His first computers and camera gear were giveaways from friends and relatives, some of the lowest quality gear possible. He never attended a formal course or received specialized training on the art of video production. He's entirely self-taught. He scratched and clawed and experimented and tried and failed and learned and tried and failed and learned some more to become the creative genius that he is today. He's simply another testament to the 10,000 hours hypothesis popularized by Malcolm Gladwell in his book Outliers. Put in 10,000 hours trying to improve yourself in just about anything and you'll become an expert. It's an incredible story and the takeaway is powerful. You don't need a single external factor or advantage to become highly skilled in any creative field. You don't need a head start. All you need is to start. Takeaway number 3, accelerate your growth by learning with others. I love Jimmy's description of his collaborative learning experiences. Check this out. Most of my growth came after I graduated high school. Basically what I did was somehow I found these other 4 lunatics. We were all super small YouTubers and we basically talked every day for 1,000 days in a row and did nothing but hyper study what makes a good video, what makes a good thumbnail, what's good pacing, how to go viral. We'd just call them daily masterminds. We were very religious about it. That's where most of my knowledge came from. Now think carefully about what he just described. A group of teenagers decided to collaborate every day online and in person. All day, every day to learn. And when he says all day, he means it. Jimmy describes connecting with his collaborative learning group on Skype first thing in the morning and then remaining in the conversation and in the call for the entire day until he went to bed. Daily masterminds for almost 1,000 days straight. great. That's a lot of learning in community. Here he describes why this level of collaboration is such a powerful hack. It's like if you envision a world where you're trying to be great at something and it's just you learning and messing up and learning from your mistakes. In 2 years, you might have learned from 20 mistakes. Where if you have 4 other people who are also messing up, and when they learn from their mistakes and they teach you what they learned, hypothetically 2 years down the road, you've learned 5 times the amount of stuff. It helps you grow exponentially way quicker. He's absolutely right, of course. This matches everything we know about collaborative learning, peer assessment and feedback, and the iterative design process. Simply put, more brains are better than one brain. Accelerate your growth by learning with others. Takeaway number 4. For significant results, action is everything. In the words of Jimmy's mom, like the entire room is a huge Lego fort. He was intense and he was passionate about what it was that he was working on at the time. You see, this part about action is not automatic. Lots of people have dreams and ideas about the creative work they want to complete, but few people act on those ideas. For many, the trick is simply to identify them, unlock them, and give them the opportunities to blossom and flourish. And by opportunities, I mean action. I mean creating. I mean hitting the publish button. In Big Magic, Elizabeth Gilbert writes, "This is the central question upon which all creative living hinges. Do you have the courage to bring forth the treasures that are hidden within you?" I like the scene of the little Lego builder shared in the excerpt above because it gives us a snapshot about Mr. Beast before YouTube. He was a builder. He was an experimenter. He was a creator before he was online. From Lego to videos to businesses, Jimmy Donaldson has had the courage to bring forth the treasures that were inside of him. His creative passions have led to consistent action. And when it comes to results, consistent action is everything. Takeaway number 5. Proficiency requires resilience through adversity. In the words of Jimmy, every night before bed, I'd just be like, it sucks. It's a lot of work, and I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. But if I just do it long enough, eventually it will click. Eventually, I'll figure it out. Every successful creator has experienced discouragement and dark days. Days when nothing seems to be going right. Days when it seems like the only ones who see the work are the ones laughing. Those days are going to happen. Most creative spaces require considerable investments of time, patience, and focus in the face of difficulty. Quality content, regardless of the medium, doesn't just happen because you're present. Mr. Beast doesn't talk about his lows all that often, but listen to his story long enough and you'll realize he's been through a lot of adversity. From equipment fails to editing disasters to dismissive and hating comments to the theft of all of his gear, there were many moments when he could have thrown in the towel and moved on with other hobbies. But he's always refused to let setbacks, problems, or failures defeat him. And 15 years later, he's enjoying the results. Takeaway number 6. Failure isn't just something to survive, it's an essential part of the learning process. Here's what Mr. Beast has to say about failure. Just fail. A lot of people get analysis paralysis and they'll just sit there and they'll plan their first video for 3 months. Your first video is not going to get views. Your first 10 are not going to get views. So stop sitting there and thinking for months and months on end. Get to work and start uploading. All you need to do is make 100 videos and improve something every time. Then on your 101st video, we'll start talking about maybe you can get some views. In her book Mindset, Carol Dweck taught us the importance of a growth mindset in learners of all ages. Those with a fixed mindset will view new learning and potential struggle as a threat to identity. If X doesn't go well for me, it means I'm dumb or a loser or both. In contrast, those with a growth mindset embrace the challenges of X precisely because it represents new territory. Failures are actually interesting to those with this mindset. They're interesting because they're opportunities to learn more. As Jimmy put it, make 100 videos and improve something every time. For me, that's the key phrase in the quote I just shared. Yes, we will make mistakes in the creative journey, and that's actually the point. Austin famously took 6 attempts to draw a butterfly well, but he never would have achieved proficiency without trying for the first time. As Mr. Beast puts it, that's the beauty of content creation online. There's literally infinite ways to improve. Every little thing can be improved, and they can never not be improved. There's no such thing as a perfect video. Think about going to the gym. Weightlifters welcome muscle failure because it means they are pushing their limits. Creators should be no different. Try, fail, learn, and improve one more thing every single time. Failure is a lesson in itself. Takeaway number 7 is a sad one for me because I'm an educator and this one hurts, but I'll share it anyway. Traditional schooling isn't always on the required path to success. For some students, it's actually the obstacle. Listen to Mr. Beast describe his experience of school. Even in high school, I never once studied. I literally wouldn't even take my books home. I legit don't think I studied once for all of high school at my house. I didn't have the best grades. I hated school with a passion, but my mom forced me to go to community college. That was the worst thing ever. That made me hate life, like borderline suicidal. I just can't stand having to just sit there and listen to this dumb stuff and listen to some teacher read out of a book. Like I said, these quotes hurt. Mr. Beast doesn't hold back when it comes to describing his school and college experiences. Listening to this brought up all kinds of questions for me. Did he ever enjoy any of his K-12 teachers? Did he ever get any opportunities at all to practice or experiment with media creation in any form at his school? Again, Mr. Beast's story makes it pretty hard to argue that the traditional K-12 and college experience is a required stop on the highway to success. And by success, I'm not just talking about financial freedom, although Mr. Beast certainly has that. I'm thinking of self-actualization, the ability to cultivate quality relationships, become a contributing member of society, and the practical power to make the world a better place. Mr. Beast is just the latest of millions of leaders, entrepreneurs, and creators who didn't see a lot of value in the traditional education system. He saw school as something to survive, to outlast, and eventually to get away from. As a teacher, I can find this really discouraging, but I also find a part of it liberating. You know that 7th grader who refuses to complete any learning activities and obsesses constantly about building games on Roblox? Yes, by all means, do whatever you can to push him, support him, and hold him to high standards. Encourage him, love him, and let him know that he belongs and matters in your learning community. But once you've done all that, there comes a point where you can't lose any more sleep over him. Because as long as that student is developing his passions, finding out more about what he wants and what he wants to become, chances are he's going to be fine. Takeaway number 8. Creative work can thrive where friendships fail. In the words of Mr. Beast, I was really shy, especially when I was younger. I really didn't like being around people. Outside of sports, it was just literally YouTube. That was all I watched. No one in my school watched videos, so I kind of just felt like an outcast because I was just hyper obsessed over it. I kind of just felt like an outcast. If you're a teacher, you know these kids. Yes, they're present in our rooms and in our halls, but they're disconnected. And as much as we try to do to include them, connect them, love on them, and help them engage in the life of our learning communities, we're not always successful. Here's the thing. Friendships and relationships are incredibly important in a child's life and in their development and in their experience of school, but they're not everything. The story of Mr. Beast reminds me that in the absence of busy social lives, some students will dive deep into the world of content creation, and I find that comforting. So where does that leave me as a teacher? Well, I already know that I can't force some middle schoolers to build friendships with other middle schoolers, but I can try to get to know the creative impulses of my students. Curiosity and encouragement from adults that students know, like, and trust can go a long way to fan those flames of passion. No, we're never giving up on relationship building in our communities. But just maybe, while some of these students struggle along, we can help them develop a life-giving world of creative work that will help boost their self-confidence, define their identities, and introduce them to others who think like they do and share their interests. In a world of obsessive gaming, vaping, and TikTok consumption, the path of creative work can be one of the healthiest for our students to walk. So let's cheer them on. Last but not least, takeaway number 9 says that a creative life is a fulfilled life. Whatever your age, take time to create. Mr. Beast says, if I'm not creating, then I don't feel fulfilled. I don't feel like I'm progressing, and I feel like I'm wasting my time. Adobe released a report in 2022 that confirmed something we already knew. The more we create, the happier we feel. I believe that every human being has a creative impulse inside them. I do, you do, everyone you know does. And of course, fulfillment in life comes in many forms. A meaningful faith, family relationships, friendships, and alignment between values, identity, work, and play. For an increasing number of people, including Mr. Beast, fulfillment is also found in creative work. There are a couple of important notes here for educators. One is to weave as many opportunities for creativity into our instruction as possible. Give students the tools and opportunities to design and express and create multimodal representations of their learning. There are so many good reasons to do this. The second takeaway is more subtle, and I don't want to pile another should on top of already tired teachers, but here it is. Do you want to go from burnout to on fire as a teacher? Try taking some time to indulge your creative side. Explore, experiment, draw, write, photograph, record, speak, share, punch fear in the face, and hit publish. When you share your work with the world, you're giving us all a gift. But you're also developing yourself. You're taking another step towards self-actualization. You're building confidence and competence with every step. You're hopping on this unbelievable upward trajectory that will make you a better educator and increase the value of what you have to share with the world at the same time. Creative work is fulfilling. Reflecting as an educator, Mr. Beast's story is both saddening and inspiring. He's experienced phenomenal success despite his school experience, not because of it. That's a school fail. Whatever your role in education, there are powerful lessons to be taken from his journey. Self-directed learning, collaboration, resilience, multiple iterations of work, excellence, generosity, finding joy in the creative process. These are all values and practices that are easy to find in the story of Jimmy Donaldson. So from student to teacher, from school to district, whatever your age and wherever you are in the learning journey, we could all use a little bit more of Mr. Beast. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.